Hi, this is Crystal from Crystal Clear ESL, where we've recently released Crystal Clear Phonics, a dynamic and interactive digital phonics curriculum specifically designed for young ESL learners. In this video, I'll discuss best practice for teaching ESL phonics, how this translates to the Crystal Clear Phonics curriculum, and some of my top tips for using our digital lessons. Join me. There are many phonics curricula now available, but it's important to choose one specific for ESL learners. Remember, your ESL learners won't have a foundation of vocabulary like native English ones. They will often learn the sounds of words far before the meanings. Your students' first contact with English will often be through the singing of the ABC song. Crystal Clear Phonics follows this logical order of the alphabet in the sequence of our lessons. So it's important for you to choose an ABC song where all the letters are easily decipherable for your students. Many Western versions of the song rush through with LMNOP, and students can't tell one letter from the next. Many Asian versions of the song will slow this down. HIJKLMN, OPQ, and so on, making them much easier to understand. Phonics is best learned in conjunction with common phrases so that sound, keyword meaning, and usage are integrated. But keep it simple. Avoid incidental language so that you don't clog up your students' input with lots of ancillary vocabulary. There are two main methods for teaching phonics: analytic and synthetic. Analytic involves students matching rhyming words in order to learn. For example, cat, mat, hat. This method relies heavily on knowing the meaning of the words. It can also become confusing because in English, a letter combination doesn't always produce the same sound. The synthetic method involves learning the sounds or phonemes and how to blend them to create words. This is often a better starting point for beginners in ESL until they build a basis of vocabulary. True synthetic phonics relies a lot on alien words. These are nonsense combinations used simply for blending and segmenting practice. It's important to try to avoid relying too heavily on alien words in an ESL phonics curriculum, however, because these learners won't be able to differentiate between real and alien words. Chinese students, in particular, among others, will have the added difficulty of not being familiar with blending syllables until they are at least 7 years old. While they do begin learning a few individual characters in kindergarten, as early as 2 or 3 years old, they don't learn blending or segmenting skills until much later on. Therefore, it's important not to have too many syllables together at once. Break down endings to minimize the number of segments. For example, k, at, rather than k, at. You also don't want to overemphasize letter names. They can begin to acknowledge the connection between the letter name and sound, but in synthetic phonics, even native English learners will refer to letters by their basic sounds first and only later add in letter names. You're going to reinforce the connections between upper and lowercase letters together with their basic sounds, but there's no need to draw this out at length for beginners' phonics. Crystal Clear Phonics offers a hybrid approach, using the synthetic method to build a framework for the students and improve their confidence. It then integrates analytic properties to provide wider learning opportunities once students have better developed their vocabularies. Crystal Clear Phonics is ideally suited to students aged 3 to 8 years old. It's dynamic, visually appealing, and interactive, making it the perfect learning resource for beginner students. Here are some notes about Crystal Clear Phonics. The scope of Crystal Clear Phonics is to firmly embed practical knowledge of all 44 phonemes in English into the long term memory of your students. The sequence starts in alphabetical order, including short vowel sounds, moves on to digraphs, R controlled sounds, long vowels, oo sounds, and diphthongs. Each sound has an associated vocabulary term, action, and song. There are often ancillary vocabulary words and phrases added into lessons, which can be used for blending practice alone or extended for more proficient students to include meanings as well. There is also a sight word list included in flashcards. You can use these in conjunction with the Crystal Clear Phonics curriculum, such as by assigning them as homework, quizzing them in class, playing games using these sight word flashcards, and encouraging students to use them in short sentences. Sight words are important not only because they're often used in English, but many are said and pronounced differently than they sound or are spelled. It's important to ensure students begin learning these by sight. There are many different types of learners: physical, oral, verbal. This is why it's important to build actions that match sounds into a curriculum. The link between the oral and physical styles provide access for a wider range of learners and allow them to integrate that knowledge as more of a base, a foundation for their future. Manipulating sounds in different contexts stimulates long term memory through repetition and authentic use. This is why exercises and games are built into the Crystal Clear Phonics curriculum. Students practice the sounds and actions repeatedly by manipulating them in new, salient contexts and thus remember them long term. Likewise, for the Crystal Clear Phonics songs, there's one for every sound repeated at the beginning and end of each lesson, as well as at the start of the next lesson. The way that the curriculum is built is there are review lessons every fifth in a unit and assessments as the sixth lesson in a unit. Do you have to do both a review and an assessment? No, you're the teacher. Have a consideration of whether your student responds well to assessment and whether their progress matches up to the material. You can decide whether or not to complete lessons 5 and or 6 for the best interest of your student. There are also review slides for repetition and practice, but you don't need to complete every task on every slide. For example, reviewing songs of the previously learned letters. Choose a few and keep track lesson to lesson so that you can practice different ones in subsequent classes. Your students' best chance at long term retention is to study phonics little and often. Greatest results will be achieved if you can get the parents involved in supplementing students' practice at home. Here are some ideas. Use the downloadable flashcards provided for free in the Crystal Clear Phonics membership and ask parents to use them to quiz students every day. Assign phonics games as homework. Crystal Clear Phonics provides over 20 fun phonics game ideas, most requiring nothing more than the printed phonics flashcards. So why not assign one per lesson as homework? There are also open links on the Crystal Clear ESL resources page to all the phonics songs. By logging on and saving the URL, you can copy this over to parents who can log on themselves to listen and practice the phonics songs with their children. It's important to keep your lessons short for young learners. Their attention spans aren't as long as older learners, and short and sweet means fun and upbeat, not long and grueling. Crystal Clear Phonics lessons are ideally suited for 25 to 30-minute class lengths. But if you need longer, why not integrate them as part of a varied curriculum? Break a longer lesson into chunks where you focus on phonics for one part, then on common phrases or short dialogues, and then on vocabulary around a specific theme, and so on. You can supplement lessons as you like. Props, movement games, videos, and the like are a great way to reinforce learning and fun, as well as lengthen a lesson. Use full sentences, even if they're short. Beginner students will begin to pick up on repeated phrasing and instructions. There are lots of those in this program of study. You will have noticed Crystal Clear Phonics incorporates a huge range of interactive features so that your student can fully engage with the lessons. The drag and drop, click the box, draw a line make the lessons fun, but also improve retention through manipulation of the language. To best enable these features, please encourage your student and yourself to work over PC or Mac, as most tablets and iPads don't have the full functionality of interaction. You'll also want to choose a virtual classroom platform that allows for cursor sharing so that your student can take control of your mouse to fully interact. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video on teaching phonics to ESL learners via the Crystal Clear Phonics curriculum. If you have any remaining questions, please feel free to get in contact using the details provided here. I hope you'll also consider taking out a 2-week free trial of the curriculum to see how it meets your teaching and your students' learning needs. Thanks again. Happy teaching.